What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast. I'm here again with Joseph Vore, and today we're going to be talking about the legend, Dennis Rodman. God, I love Dennis.
Dennis Rodman. First name basis. You're on first name basis with Dennis.
If I died and I was reincarnated and I could live someone else's life, there's a good chance Dennis Rodman is in my top 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Who would be the other 2?
Michael Jordan and Tom Brady.
Okay.
Maybe Gandhi.
Yeah.
Mother Teresa. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Dennis Rodman, he's up there.
He is up there. He's top 3.
He just lived an incredible life. The dude, he knows how to party.
Yeah,
he knows how to
does.
dress.
Yeah.
He knows how to style his hair.
Yeah.
And he's got a phenomenal choice of women.
Yeah. He sure does.
Carmen Electra.
Carmen Electra.
Oh, my God.
My God. Does
She's
she
she's so hot.
She still has her fastball, doesn't she?
She's great.
Oh, my God.
She was in the last episode there just for a little bit, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, my God.
It's like, who is this goddess?
What movies
even
has
look at
she
her.
been in? She's in a lot of like the parody movies.
Right.
Was it Scary Movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Something, 3 or 4.
Doesn't matter.
She was in, what movie is she in where she's actually acting like a serious movie?
You know, I could not tell you.
Do you know how she got famous? Is she like a Sports Illustrated model or something?
I have zero clue. I just know
She's just hot.
I just know the name, I know the legend, and I know she's a smoke. And I think that's all you got to know.
I wonder how her and Dennis Rodman met.
I think he was just on the most famous basketball team of all time.
And she's like, oh.
And they all party and they go out and
They rub elbows with a few girls here and there.
Yeah.
Probably not too many.
No,
but.
not too many. No, not at all. But yeah, no, they definitely ended up in the same circles. They ended up at the same place. And you know, these guys travel to all. I mean, think about all the NBA cities and all the cities that they go to. I mean, you know, they're bound to run into each other. Whether it's you know, they're in Chicago, which you know is a great market, a great city.
And you know what I just thought of? The Playboy Mansion used to be in Chicago. That's where Hugh Hefner, that's where he's from. That's where it started. So I believe when the Bulls were, you know, in their, you know, championship runs, the Playboy Mansion was still in Chicago.
Did not know
that was
that.
the first location.
Fun fact.
And then they
Wow.
moved to LA. I think it was probably in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I watched a whole documentary on Amazon about how Hugh Hef started Playboy. It's actually incredible. No one knows about it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called Playboy. Highly recommend it.
Check that out. That seems fascinating.
But they used to say, and I read an article on this, when opposing teams would come to Chicago during the playoffs, they say that a girl would knock on their hotel room door and she'd be in a trench coat and have a cake. And she'd give you the cake and the trench coat would come off and she'd go in and she would try to basically tire you out so that you know, you have no stamina for the next day during the game, which if you think about it, think about if the roles were reversed and a guy showed up at your door for the WNBA championship in a trench coat with a cake.
Yeah.
You'd go to prison.
No, that wouldn't happen. You know, I assume women, they should have their guard up. I mean, it's unfortunate.
Who's going to report that?
Right. Yeah. Oh my
I
God.
wouldn't.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, a guy would never report. It's like when you see, you know, like the school, like the substitute teacher who gets with the guy, and we're all like, what's the issue here? It just seems like two consenting adults just going at it. But when it's the other way around, like it's like, oh no, that's like effed up. That's messed up.
But no, that's so great. I wonder who was behind it. Was it Hugh that was behind it? He's like, hey, I want you to go to the hotel and tire out these players.
Well, yeah, I think, that came from the Bulls management, and then they obviously had the connects with Hugh, or Jordan did it.
Great tactic.
And you know, Hugh had the inventory, and he just sent them on over.
He sent out the soldiers. They went to war.
He did.
They went to war. They took probably a lot more than one for the team. They took probably a lot for the team.
Yeah, they sure did.
Lots of them.
But I love, one of my favorite moments of Dennis Rodman, and this just goes back to, I love seeing the differences between that era in time, just the world versus what it is now. Remember, he's walking out of a game into the players' lot. He's finishing up his Miller Lite, throws it away, and then gets on a motorcycle and speeds out of there. Like, what the hell? He would be canceled on Twitter.
Crucified.
He would be fined by the league. He would be in so much trouble.
Same thing with the whole Vegas thing or the WWE thing, which I want to get into in a minute.
But no one could sneak around. When people say, well, we don't know where he is, that's like impossible now. Now, obviously, they see him when he turns up. But, you know, it would be impossible for him just to go in an airport or be in a car or anywhere
without being spotted.
Anywhere.
We missed out on a great era of time.
We did, where we could.
I would rather grow up in that era.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was on the tail end of it, but like, you know, in my 20s or whatever.
Yeah.
Than now. They really got to live.
They did with just no repercussions.
Like, you don't see NBA players drinking beer as they're pulling up, walking down into the locker room.
No.
Or smoking cigars. They used to be so much more badass back then. Now everyone's so soft to be like, oh my God, you can't do that. Let's cancel him. Let's fire him. Blah, blah, blah. Give him a fine. Like, everyone's such pussies now. And it's...
Well, I think people...
Even saying the word that I just said, the P word.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that.
Right. Yeah, no, that's effed up. You're done, brother.
I guess so.
I'm taking over the podcast until I say something, and then Kid Febreze is going to take over.
There you go.
And then there's going to be there's going to be no filmer, so it's just going to be mayhem.
we're over with. But to be Dennis Rodman just seems like, I mean, and I know he had a lot of struggles. He was homeless from the time he was like 18 to 19. There's like a year where he was couch surfing, and he ended up, you know, picking up a basketball and got recruited just the fact that he got recruited to a junior college was a miracle. Was a miracle.
Yep.
Because I don't think he played in high school, did he? I think after high school is when he just picked up a basketball like at a park and started playing.
Right.
And then
he grew
had a growth spurt.
I think him and Pippen are very similar because they both went to very small schools. I mean, Pippen, for God's sakes, one of the greatest of all time. He played at a D2 school.
Yeah.
You know, they hit their growth spurt. And that's the biggest thing, too, you know, like with Pippen, you know, these guys who grew up smaller and, you know, they're more agile and they have all these guard skills, and all of a sudden they hit a growth spurt.
Yep.
And you got a 6'8" guard coming at you with guard skills and who are athletic enough and, you know, skilled and technical enough. That's just, I mean, that's
hard to stop.
That's the mold that you want. Mm-hmm. That's what makes a great basketball player.
And I think what really made Dennis was when he played for the Pistons in Detroit.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what turned him into a bad boy. Before that, they said he was innocent, kid, that's just a pure spirit. And not that he wasn't pure, but he definitely kind of came out of his shell after that and kind of took on that bad boy image and started dyeing his hair and, you know, getting all the piercings and everything. And that's when he said he really just felt like he found himself.
Yeah, he finally had an identity, because when he came out, you know, he was like, you know, this is, I mean, imagine, right? This is all so new to me. I don't want to mess this up. I went from nothing, and now that I even have a spot in the NBA, I'm getting paid to do this. Are you kidding me? And he's probably like, well, God, what else am I going to do? I better not mess this up. And then once he got his feet wet and he had an identity and he fit in, I think that's where he finally got comfortable, and he's like, I can just be me, myself. And he just, and he was.
he was. I was watching him on Oprah.
Oh my
goodness.
It's
just hysterical. You got to watch it. He's just an outrage. Everything that he does, his character, it's just so entertaining.
Yeah.
It's like it just sucks you in. He just has that it factor that you can't teach to somebody. It's just something that you got. And it's pure entertainment.
Here's the thing about Dennis Rodman that you always need to remember, and this is how you know how outrageous he is. It's not even like, to us that know Dennis Rodman and see Dennis Rodman, it's not even a big deal or that big of a surprise or that weird that he's boys with Kim Jong-un.
That is is such a good point.
I mean, really? Like, it's like, you know, it's like, oh, here's Dennis Rodman, piercings, basketball. You know, remember that one time he was in like a wedding dress, and then it's like, oh, and he's also like him and Kim Jong-un are best friends on Snapchat.
Did you watch the 30 for 30 on Dennis Rodman?
Oh yeah.
That was phenomenal as well, by the way. Highly recommend that. But it was so interesting because apparently when he was in North Korea, because he was our only tie to North Korea. He's America's only tie to the dictatorship of North Korea. And he actually had like a meltdown at one of their dinner parties.
Oh no.
Do you remember that?
No.
He had a meltdown at one of the dinner parties. It was like his second or third time there. And obviously, you know, everyone in America is putting all this pressure on him. Like, you know, you got to talk to him about this and that and get this information. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to hang out. You know, we're boys.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting too drunk at one of their dinner parties and just freaking out.
What was he freaking out?
I can't remember what it was.
Did he realize oh my God, this is such a messed up, scary situation. Like, what am I doing? Did he just get paranoid or what?
No, I think he just got angry at something.
Oh God.
And just went off and just went on one of his drunk tangents.
You don't want to see Dennis.
And then he had to apologize to Kim. And of course, Kim loves him. He's like, it's fine.
It's fine.
You're good. If anyone else did that, would have chopped their heads off.
Right, they'd be dead.
Yeah.
There would have been no...
Anybody else, no question. They take him outside and they would be killed immediately.
Exactly.
But it's Dennis. He's like, it's okay.
It's okay, Dennis. It's okay, Dennis. Let's go.
What do you need?
Let's go listen to Katy Perry and drink margaritas.
But in the episode last night, I can't believe that in the middle of the NBA Finals, they had like a 1-day break or whatever.
Where's Dennis?
He doesn't show up for practice. Where is he? WWE, SmackDown.
Just hanging out with Hulk Hogan. He comes out smoking a cigar, hitting people over the head with chairs. And even that one segment, they're all sitting there on the couch with the girls, and Hulk Hogan's like, some things are worth missing practice for. And it's like, this is in the middle of the NBA Finals going for a three-peat. This is just, can you imagine if that happened now?
You'd be done.
You'd
be done. But the beauty of Phil Jackson.
Yeah. Well, how about Phil Jackson? He's on this, Zen, Montana, Wyoming Indians. Everyone sees Dennis as an outcast, weird guy. I'm not taking a chance on him.
Phil understands him.
And Phil's like, oh yes, in one of my readings, he fits this mold. I know this person.
He'll be back and we will win.
Yes. But, credit to Dennis Rodman. Everyone knew it's like, yeah, this is ridiculous.
Even more credit to Phil Jackson.
But this is Dennis. Right. And, see this with great teams. Teams take chances on guys, and sometimes the right situation, it's J.R. Smith is nowhere close to Dennis Rodman. But, they do have some similarities where he was kind of troubled and all over the place. Then he comes to Cleveland. He gets in a stable situation. He's with LeBron. And sometimes when you're in that situation and you're around those guys and there's winning involved, they can figure it out and be an intricate piece. And, the fact, but, you never had to worry about Dennis competing. And when they showed the highlights in his game, after missing practice, he came out that night and was all over the boards. And was that the
taking
night
care of business
where the Jazz only scored like 54 points? Or I think that
it may have been.
Yeah.
And then just like when he had that break where he went to Vegas for 3 days or 4 days, or it was supposed to be 3 days, and he didn't show up. Right. And they're like, all right, we're going to be running sprints and practice. Everybody get on the line, and no one can even outrun him.
No.
So he was always there. He's always ready to go. He took care of business, and that's why he kind of had that little bit of freedom where he's allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants.
Isn't it just crazy? You like you were saying the other day, you smoked a cigar and you're still kind of...
Yeah, I'm like, I can feel that, I can still taste it.
And the fact these guys are such superhumans, and everyone makes a big deal. Jordan was doing this. He was out late gambling.
They said Jordan smoked 6 cigars a day.
That is pure insanity. The fact that he can smoke cigars all day, play golf, and then go out there and it's, you wouldn't be able to tell if he did that or got his 8 hours of rest and had...
Yeah, it didn't make a difference.
Didn't make a difference. And, that's not fair and that shouldn't work. But for but for those guys...
But it did.
It does.
Yep.
Because they
just got it. I think it's all
superhuman.
Like back to the last episode, we were talking about Jordan's mentality. I think it's just purely a mental thing. Yeah. I think it's... it's only going to affect you if you think it's going to affect you. If you don't think it's going to affect you, if you think it's fine, it's going to help you to relax, then that's what it's going to do.
Yeah.
So they worked hard and they played hard and they took care of business, and that's really what they did. So before we end this episode, Colton, go ahead and zoom in on the Dennis Rodman jersey that I have autographed and framed in the man cave. Look at that piece of beauty right there. Dennis Rodman signed that for me. He sent it to me. He said, "Hey, Big Doss, I love your show.
He did.
I'm going to go ahead and send you this." And Dennis, we support you. Dennis, we love you. If you ever want to come to the man cave, hang out, we could smoke a cigar. We could have a few Miller Lights, whatever you want to do. Just let me know.
John.
Yeah, bring Kim, hit my line, and we'll have a good time. So that's going to be another episode of the Man Cave Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments what you guys want to see us talk about in the next episode. We'll see you next time. Peace, guys.